Good afternoon. I'm Ezra Johnson, a 22-year-old sports broadcasting major here at Georgia State Perimeter College, Decatur campus. I'm a full-time student and I don't have another job at the moment. I'm usually a pretty reserved guy, but at the same time I can be fun, entertaining, high energy. I grew up in the town of Hampton, Georgia. It's just about 30 miles south of Atlanta, and I come from a small household, just me, my mom, my dad, and one brother. My family's just always been a sports household, so whenever there was a game, it was on the TV, whether it was football, basketball, boxing, soccer, you name it. My mother's a bona fide Packers fan, and my father's an Eagles fan. And I myself, I'm a Los Angeles Clippers fan, Kansas City Chiefs, and Atlanta Braves fan. And when I'm not doing school, I'm watching whatever sports in season, or playing my guitar, or trying to hone my craft at basketball. Initially, my goal in life was to play basketball overseas professionally, but recently it shifted how to learn to be an entertaining sports personality. I know behind closed doors I may seem soft-spoken and timid, but being in front of the camera really brings out a different side of my personality. I know what it takes to be a sportscaster. You got to be very articulate and informed, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be great in my field. I want this job because it's actually been my dream since I was a little boy. I was born into a family of sports fanatics, and I was always just as interested in the reporters, the personalities, the announcers, just as much as the athletes on the field. Whenever there was a game on TV, I'd always watch the pre-show, the main event, and the post-game interviews. And whenever there wasn't a game, I'd watch the sports debate shows, like Undisputed on FS1, The Jump, stuff like that. And I grew up idolizing guys like Stephen A., Skip Bayless, Michael Wilbon, all really great reporters in the sports field. And even though the players are the one that drive the game, the broadcasters are the one that really make up the entertainment aspect of sports. I used to want to be the one being interviewed, but I always understood that without sports media, the game would be just like watching an opera in a different language. Meaning that you would be able to get a general understanding from just watching the game, but you wouldn't understand all the little pieces that really go into making it very entertaining. Sports media bridges the gap between fans, players, and even the people behind the scenes like team executives, presidents, owners, towel boys, all that. And I've always wanted to give my hot takes and bring attention to some of the lesser known aspects of sports, like team salaries and different statistics like that. And this job is something that's not just a hobby to me, but it's a passion, and it's been a part of my life for a very long time. The biggest challenge I had to overcome that prepared me for this is, like I previously stated, I fell in love with sports from a very young age, and I actually wanted to pursue a career as an athlete for a time. I've been playing basketball for years, and I wanted to go professional and go play overseas, but as soon as I really started to get in my groove and figuring out my game, I tore my labrum, which is a ligament in your shoulder that connects your collarbone and stuff to the top portion of your shoulder. But since then, I haven't really been able to practice my craft physically, and I probably never will be able to full capacity after that injury. But nevertheless, this hasn't stopped me from wanting to continue pursuing sports in every capacity. I realize that I can still be perfectly happy just discussing the sport because it's what I really love. And over the past few months, I've been studying all the terminology and different metrics and the jargon and everything that goes into different sports and the different sports broadcasters use for sports, not only basketball, but soccer, football, gymnastics, volleyball, anything that's shown on TV. And also, while I wouldn't consider myself an expert on any sport except for basketball, I've had a pretty smooth transition into learning other sports. I can quickly pick up on some of the little things that not everybody understands, that casual fans understand, and that really gives the analyst an ability to effectively critique a sport. And also, there's no sport I'm unwilling to watch or learn about. If the job requires me to get up on a Monday morning and buy special cable or pay to watch a game of cricket, that's just something I'm willing to do to put me above the rest. And I really enjoy sports. So, yeah, and this makes me a pretty versatile and well-rounded analyst for any network and any sport, really. And I would say my greatest weakness is when I was younger, being socialized and stuff and being in school, I was really outgoing and I was able to talk to anyone with ease. But honestly, over time, as I've been figuring myself out, I've become more introverted and reserved. And, the recent pandemic really hasn't helped with that. But I think even the most social people, like my girlfriend or my mom, are having quite a bit of trouble being as bubbly as they used to be before the pandemic. And I know it kind of sounds like a crazy thing to do, but I've actually been trying to practice being more outgoing recently. Talking to little people here and there, whether it's in a grocery store, saying hi, just trying to brighten up people's day a little bit and get in the habit of it. But I'm really passionate about sports broadcasting, and I know for that job, you really need to be extroverted. You need to, bang your hand on the table and stand firm on your opinions and stuff like that and shout sometimes. But it's something I'm really, really willing to do because it's been a passion of mine for such a long time. And it's made it kind of easy for me to come out of my shell, And I learn little tricks from my favorite sports broadcasters, and I do what they do. Like I said, banging on the table, emphasizing special words. And that's really been helping me out and helping me emphasize certain points and stuff like that. And I know that even if I am nervous, I always have my sports knowledge to fall back on, And I have a lot to bring to this company. I would say, first of all, I have nearly an encyclopedic knowledge of sports, at least football and basketball specifically. I know the entire roster of almost every team. I follow all sports transactions, so if anybody gets traded, anybody gets waived, cut, a free agent signing, anything, I'm on top of that just as quick as the first reporter that gets the news. And also, I study the game so much that I would be able to give a pretty good prediction of who would win in any given matchup. I also know nearly every player's strengths and weaknesses, as well as their percentages, the metrics, player efficiency rating, QBR, anything like that. I'm on top of that. And I know players, which team they played for the past, and the owners, the payroll. I study all that stuff religiously. And additionally, I know about most sports systems, at least how they're played, and I can build on that knowledge just by watching. And I really know what constitutes a great player versus an average player on an analytical level. And I can do all of this off the top of my head really quickly because it's basically like second nature to me because I'm so used to watching sports and any athletic activity. I'm also pretty good with words when I need to be. I can be really expressive and invigorating. I know how to use big words. I know how to use punctual words and definitive words that really drive home the point and take a firm stance on any opinion. I'm able to excite the viewer with hot takes like Stephen A. Smith or like Skip Bayless would do. And I think another thing that I really bring to this company is that I would bring in a younger demographic of viewers. A lot of the younger people, they just watch the sports and then they just turn the TV off. They don't really watch the pregame interviews, the interviews with their favorite players. And I think I would really help bring that demographic in to focus on the media aspect of sports more than just the game itself. Seeing somebody like me would really, it would really gravitate to younger viewers and it would make them more interested in just the media aspect in general. And also, I have a really analytical style, and I think I'm pretty good at what I do, and I know almost everything about at least a few sports. And to recap, I think I can boost younger demographics. I think I can invigorate and excite the crowd. I know how to constitute a good player from a great player or average player. And anything that I don't know already, I'm always willing to pick up on and add to my repertoire for whenever someone needs me to know anything. And I think that really puts me above a lot of the other people. And that's it. Thank you.